The worst transfer window in Scottish football history rumbles on. 17th of January 2024, we're officially in the second half of the window, and it's firmly shut. There's nothing happening. It's the same regurgitated news that we've been reporting. But let's talk about something fresh, shall we? Because it looks like Liverpool are simply not allowing reported Celtic target Kelleher to leave the club. Of course, he has a 25-year-old backup goalkeeper. I've already expressed my thoughts on him. I think he's a pretty good goalkeeper. I think he's a lot better than Joe Hart. He's definitely closer to Butland than he is to Joe Hart. That's for sure. And that's not suggesting Joe Hart is the greatest goalkeeper on earth. What do you think of Kelleher?
Good player, would make a good addition, I think, to the Scottish Premiership.
Yeah, I think the problem with this, it would be a loan. And loans... I'm not saying they can't start, but if Joe Hart has a future at Celtic, it'd be a bit weird if the loan came in and just hoovered every game off until the end of the season. Even though I think Joe Hart's done. I can't see how he lasts. I think he'll be gone.
Celtic are not bringing in a lone goalkeeper to be backup. That makes zero sense to me. Because secondary goalkeeper just does not play enough to justify bringing in a loan.
No, because Scott Bain does what he has to do.
Yeah, they're not Scott Bain, Segrist, or whoever at this point. Okay, they're not being replaced as the second in command by Kelleher. It's no happening. I think if they're going to bring in a goalkeeper on loan of that sort of caliber, it is to go straight into the starting 11. So therefore, I would go as far as saying if this happens, then Joe Hart stays unnumbered. And even if he remains at the club, what it tells me is that going forward next year, Brendan Rodgers will be looking to replace him again, and they'll be looking to bring in a permanent goalkeeper, whether it be Kelleher or anybody else for that matter. But yeah, for me, if you're signing a goalkeeper on loan, then it's never for backup.
No, it shouldn't be, but unless it's for UEFA requirements, like needing a certain amount of Scottish nationals in the team, but I think the only way Celtic get him is a loan. I think his transfer value, considering the fact he's only 25 as well, which probably means he can give you another 15 years. Goalies can go on forever. I think he's probably looking at over about 10 million. Celtic are not spending that on a goalie. Even though, right, he's Irish, they could sign him for 10 million and he could be the Celtic goalie for the next decade and a bit. It would be a smart investment, but I don't think they're realistically going to do that. Let's talk about Connor Smith, though. Hearts of Midlothian player Connor Smith. Looks like he's on his way out. He's out of contract this summer. Will Hearts miss Big Connor?
I'm going to say no. I thought the guy had potential, but he's not good enough to be a Hearts starting player. I think something seriously is wrong at Hearts if Connor Smith, at the level he's at right now, is a first-team player. I think he's a good player. I think he's one of these project players, a player we hope for the future, but he just hasn't really come on as good as I was hoping he would be. Therefore, if he leaves the club, then so be it. Hell, a loan move, perhaps, would be interesting, but he's just not someone that is going to be a Hearts starting 11 player.
No, he kind of looks like Jordan Rosa, who, if you remember, each FIFA career you started about 10 years ago, when he gets fit under Gerrard, and then he never did, then he left Rangers. That's what he looks like. Both midfielders. Not exactly a star power name, Connor Smith, but generico. But Jake Hasty, former Rangers and Motherwell man, looks like he could be returning to the pyramid with a move to Hamilton Accies. So maybe he's going to help them in their fight to get out of League One. And it's not much of a fight. I think they'll be up, even if it is via the playoffs. And let's talk about Gustav Lagerbielke, because for whatever reason, Brendan Rodgers doesn't like his new signings that he brought in the summer. He wants rid of Lagerbielke. We're seeing Cameron Vickers linked with a move at the club. Brentford, West Ham, Nottingham Forest. How much money would it take to get Carter Vickers at the club? But most importantly, how much money would it take Lagerbielke to get the club? Because he did spend a decent amount of money. And everybody's favourite Italian team at the minute are looking at him. Can you guess who it is without looking?
It is
Hellas Verona, because guess what? They are linked with everybody. Yilmaz, Barisic, any other player for the Scottish leagues you want them, Hellas Verona have wanting them.
If you're for the Scottish Premiership, then Hellas Verona are basically going to try and kidnap you and bring you to Serie A. That is pretty much what I have gathered over the past couple of weeks. Lagerbielke, I haven't really seen enough of him to suggest there's a player in there. I think Celtic will be very lucky to recoup that 3.5 million that they spent on him right now, because he's just looking like a bang average player. And when you're behind Stephen Welsh in the pecking order, then you're probably not that good.
What do you make of Cameron Carter-Vickers's links with Rangers now? Celtic, sorry. I said it doesn't act. I actually think if Carter-Vickers goes, even though he's the best defender in the league, right? We've seen Celtic be able to cope without him this season in Old Firms. I don't think it would have quite as big as effect as what people may think it would.
I think it'd be more of a European Champions League thing. Although, I mean, you could argue that he hasn't really helped that much in that competition. Not necessarily blaming him for any of Celtic's defeats.
Well, he did. He cost him against Lazio. You got to admit, he did give away the ball. But here, that's not me. I mean, that's me bashing him for an incident, right? But see, since he came in, he's been by far the best defender in the league. And when you've seen Sutton and Boyd, I like mentioning those two. They're a wee bit of a draw. Sutton put him in his team of the season so far because he's the best defender in the league. You can't put him in the best team of the season so far for me. I mean, he's been injured half of it. And I think this has been easily his worst half a season/season so far for Celtic. Would you not agree? I think easily his first season was his best. And I think last season, I'd argue Starfelt was better. And this season, I'd say Scales is better.
I think that's fair.
I think a fee around 10 million would probably get Carter-Vickers out of Celtic. I mean, they signed him for 6 million from what? Tottenham. I mean, the teams that are linked, West Ham, Forest. Well, actually, I say Forest. Why would he go to Forest, though? I mean, they've got those 10 points deductions, probably, and they could be getting relegated. West Ham, I think, would be a pretty good move for Cameron Carter-Vickers. Team with European aspirations. And also, it's just the Scottish Premiership tax. So to speak, I'll say tax, lack of it, because if Carter-Vickers, right, played the amount of games he did for like a Premier League team that he has for Celtic, he'd be getting a big money move. But it's just the fact, Celtic can't weasel much of a fee out of him. You have to be young in this league or insanely good. And sadly, he is a good defender, but if you're going to be insanely good, it helps me up that forward end of the pitch in order to get a good deal. But anyway, guys, that's it for the SPFL Transfer Roundup show. We're back with the latest. There's not much happening. We'll be back very soon. But until next time, peace.